Hey Selena, are you there? I wanted to talk to you about Julie's wedding. You see, I think I'd actually like you to stay home and take care of things while I go. In fact, I'm actually going to be going with my ex-wife.
Excuse me? What in the world are you talking about?
Well, it's just that she's Julie's real mom and you're not. I just think it would be better if her and I went and you stayed home.
But, you can't just ask me to do this out of nowhere. Besides, that woman might be Julie's biological mother, but I am her parent. I have been raising that girl for the past 20 years that we've been together. You can't just tell me that you're going to be giving my seat to your ex?
I don't know what else you want me to say. I was talking to Ruth and she said that she really wants to be there. And ever since Julie announced that she was getting married, Ruth has been even more vocal about being there at the wedding. And I think it would be pretty awkward if we try to give both you a space there, don't you think? So please, can you just stay at home that day?
How can you even suggest something like that? Why should I have to stay at home? If anyone should be missing from Julie's wedding day, it's Ruth. Are you forgetting that after she gave birth, she abandoned you with Julie? And after that, you're just going to let her waltz into the wedding and pretend to be a mother again?
Okay, now hold on just a second. I really don't think that you're being fair to Ruth at all. I mean, like it or not, she did carry and give birth to Julie. And I think that means we owe her at least a little bit of our respect, don't you?
No, actually, I do not think that we owe her even a single ounce of respect.
Selena, please. I really think that you're being unreasonable. Yes, you might have raised Julie for basically all her life. But are you really going to tell me that that's worth more than being someone's actual biological parent? Think of it this way. The whole reason you were able to raise Julie in the first place is because Ruth did what she did. So in a way, you kind of owe her, don't you think? I know that you think you've dedicated the last 20 years of your life to Julie, but don't let that get you carried away.
Carried away? Are you kidding me right now, Richard? Why are you even defending Ruth right now? I remember that when you and I first got together, all you would ever do is complain about Ruth.
Well, that was then and this is now. And the fact of the matter is that I think that Ruth deserves to see her daughter get married. Just like any parent should for their children. She even wrote a letter for Julie that she wants to give to her on her wedding day. She was crying when she was telling me about her plan to give it to her.
You're still not telling me how you can just forgive her for all of this.
I know that Ruth wronged Julie and I. She betrayed us and I get that. But I think that she's really changed her ways. She called me the moment she heard that Julie was getting married and I could hear the tears in her voice. She's not the same woman that she used to be. I know it.
Hold on just a second here. Why is she calling you so often about this? Have you two been meeting in person?
Well, after she called me, I did ask her out to lunch just because it had been so long. And then lately, we've been going out drinking too.
Excuse me? When were you going to tell me any of this?
I wasn't really thinking about it. All I could think about was how much prettier Ruth has gotten over the years. So now we've been keeping in contact mostly to coordinate stuff about the wedding. But did you know that Ruth still isn't remarried? I guess she just never got over leaving Julie and I. That's how I know that she really meant what she was telling me.
I don't get it, Richard. Are you telling me that after all this time, you've rediscovered feelings for your ex-wife?
I'm just glad that you said it so that I wouldn't have to. But it's true. My heart has already decided. So I think it would be best if we just ended our marriage now so that I could get back together with Ruth and put our family back together. But don't worry, I'll never forget all the good times that we had together.
I don't believe what I'm hearing. How could you do this to me?
Well, I'm just thinking that this would be best for Julie. Besides, Ruth promised not to cheat on me anymore and that she would be loyal for the rest of her life. I think the timing of this is all a sign that this is the right thing to do. That's why we're going to get married and have a second chance at our life.
I don't even know what to say to you right now. You've been secretly going out with your ex-wife? Then you tell me that I should give up my seat to Ruth for Julie's wedding. And now you're telling me that you want a divorce so that you can marry Ruth again? Do you have any idea just how much of an idiot you're being?
I really am sorry for where this leaves you, Selena. But even Julie thinks that Ruth and I should get back together. She said, I hope you two have a nice life when I told her about it. So you see, she's really happy for the two of us.
I don't believe it. Did Julie really tell you two to have a nice life?
Of course she did. You don't think that she's happy to be getting her real mom back after all these years? And what's more, to have both of them at her wedding watching her proudly? Honestly, if that isn't enough to make you agree to all of this, then I don't know what to say.
Are you kidding me right now?
Look, I'm in love with Ruth, and we're getting back together. She is going to be at Julie's wedding and not you, so don't bother showing up.
Okay, fine then.
Oh, and by the way, I have some divorce papers that we should sign once I'm back home.
Oh, trust me, we couldn't get divorced fast enough to make me happy. I dedicated the last 2 decades of my life to you and Julie. I can't believe that you both betray me like this, but if this is what you want, then don't let me stand in your way.
Thank you so much for your understanding. I knew that you would if we just talked this out.
Hey, Julie, I just want to let you know that your father and I are getting a divorce. I'm very sad that I won't be at your wedding, but I really do wish you all the joy and happiness in the world. I also transferred some money to your bank account as a little wedding present. I hope you have a wonderful life, Julie. Wait, what? Mom, what are you talking about? You and Dad are getting a divorce? What's going on? Did something happen? Did the two of you get into a fight or something like that? What do you mean, Julie? Your dad told me that you were already informed about this. Don't you know that he's getting back together with Ruth, your birth mother? That's why he and I are breaking up. He's doing what? This is the first that I'm hearing about any of this at all. Wait, really? Are you sure? Your dad told me that he had talked to you about this. He told me that you were very supportive of him getting back together with Ruth. He said that I was supporting him getting back together with Ruth? When did this happen? Did he really think that I'd ever approve of this? Mom, I have no idea what's going on here at all, but I want you to know that it isn't how like you're saying at all. I'm confused then. What is going on? Well, Dad actually called me not that long ago to talk about his plans after I get married. Well, he told me that he was going to be selling the house and moving into a condo with Mom. Then he asked me what I thought of that, and I told him that it was a great idea and that I wish you two all the best. But that whole time, he only used the word Mom. So obviously I assumed that he was talking about the two of you. He never mentioned Ruth even once. I see. But then what does this mean? What is even going on? Are you telling me you had no idea that your dad was getting back together with Ruth? Well, I guess that means you don't know that she's planning on being at your wedding too, right? Excuse me? She better not be. Is that why you wouldn't be coming to my wedding? Because my dad was trying to replace you with her? Your dad was telling me that I guess Ruth has some letters she wrote that she's been wanting to give you. I don't even want to even see the envelope that's holding that letter. Why would I want anything to do with a woman that cheated on my dad and left us? I can't believe that he would want anything to do with her either. I don't know. I guess he said that she's really changed over the years. He said that she's only gotten prettier with time. I guess he just fell back in love with her. After all, Ruth was your father's first love, you know. Even so, if my dad is letting a woman like Ruth fool him, then he's just being stupid. You're the only mom I need. You were the woman who raised me for the past 20 years. How could Dad ever think I'd want otherwise? Oh, Julie, thank you so much for saying all of that. It makes me feel so much better. Well, just know that I'm going to do something about this, so you have nothing to worry about, and you will be getting an invitation when I have the dates down. You are going to be the only mom at my wedding.
Selena, are you there? Please, you have to take me back. Let's get married again. I've signed my portion of the wedding certificate, so now I just need your signature.
What in the world are you talking about? What happened to you and Ruth?
We're not going to be getting married anymore. She ran away from me right before we were supposed to sign the marriage papers.
She ran away? What does that even mean?
I don't know. I think that she was cheating on me again. How could I ever have believed her? Actually, I know that she was cheating on me because I caught her texting several other men.
Was she really?
That's right. Not only that, but she was talking to someone slated to take over his family's company. I guess when she found that out, she figured to cut her losses with me.
I see. So basically you're saying that your actions have finally come around to bite you.
Please, I never should have divorced you. I was fooled by Ruth's crocodile tears, but they were all just lies. You have to forgive me for this. I was fooled. Can't you see that? I'm a victim here too.
Are you seriously trying to call yourself a victim in this?
Now, I understand why you might be mad about this, but I really hope you can see how I'm not to blame for this at all. You're not actually going to let 20 years of being together go to waste, are you? Let's just go home and be a family again. We can even go as a couple to Julie's wedding. What do you think?
I think that you're a bit late for that, since we're in the middle of the wedding now.
What do you mean by that?
I mean that the wedding is going on right now, and I'm here as Julie's mother. Even the rest of your family is here. Everyone but you, that is.
I don't get it. What's going on here? What do you mean the wedding is going on right now? Julie's wedding isn't supposed to be today?
Oh, I'm afraid it is. I'm here looking at how beautiful Julie looks in her wedding dress. Everyone here is crying tears of joy, just so happy to see her.
Wait, but this can't be right. I haven't heard of Julie setting a date for a wedding. I haven't even gotten an invitation. Are you telling me that Julie is getting married and she didn't even invite me?
I wonder if that might have something to do with you not being her dad at all?
What is that supposed to mean? Of course I'm her father. She's my daughter. She's my flesh and blood.
You still don't get it, do you? Family is so much more than genetics. I thought you would have figured that out by now. Does the fact that Julie calls me Mom mean nothing to you?
I don't... What are you getting out?
And in that same vein, she doesn't think of you as her father one bit. In the past 20 years, you've barely been a parent to her at all.
Oh no. This is really bad. I have to get a hold of Julie right away. This can't be happening. I'm her father. There's no way that I'm gonna miss my daughter's wedding. Maybe she just forgot to send me one. There's no way that she wouldn't invite me to something as big as this.
I'm sorry, but you'll have to do all of this later. We're all in the middle of her wedding. If you bothered her about this, it would only ruin her day, so why can't you just give her this day?
But that would mean missing my own daughter's wedding. This can't be happening. I have to get there right now.
Do you even know where the wedding is happening? Look, I really don't have time for this. I'm here to enjoy Julie's wedding. So just accept that Julie has decided on her own who her parents are. Hey, Mom. I just wanted to thank you again so much for today. I was really nervous, but seeing you there for me was a huge help. And thank you so much for inviting me to your beautiful wedding. I was just touched the whole time. And I promise to always treasure this letter you've written me. It was all beautiful. I'm really glad that you liked it, Mom. Anyways, my friends and I are going to be going out soon, so I guess we'll talk later, right? Sorry, just one more thing before you go. I really recommend you turn off your phone before going out. I just know that your dad is going to try and get a hold of you to talk about all of this. Oh, trust me, I've noticed. He's been blowing up my phone for hours now. I guess it sounds like things didn't work out so well with him and Ruth, right? He even told me that you told him you didn't want to marry him even though he offered. Well, of course I wouldn't want to marry a man like him again after all of this. And I don't blame you. I even told Dad as much. In fact, I told him that after today, I'd never ever talk to him again. You mean you're just going to cut your dad out of your life? Of course. He's hardly been a parent to me, especially compared to you. And I wouldn't want the man who treated you the way he did in my life any longer. Well, I guess that means that your dad really is going to be all alone after this. You know, I've been thinking about this for a while, and I can't even come up with a good memory I have with Dad. And of course, I'm sorry that he was cheated on by Ruth, but I think he was always using that as an excuse for his behavior. And I know that because of that, he made your life much more difficult when it came to being married and raising me. But even before he married you, life wasn't easy for me with him anyways. Wait, really? You mean that even before I came, your dad wasn't doing a good job of raising you? He would always have my hair cut so short, and when I asked him why, it's because he said if I had it any longer, it reminded him too much of Ruth. And he was always picking out clothes that he said Mom would never wear that I should. He basically tried to control my life because he hadn't gotten over what Ruth did to him. I see. Well, I don't think I had any idea of that at all. And I guess even 20 years later, he still wasn't over her. I would have thought that having a new family would have meant that he'd moved on, but I guess not. Really, he was just waiting for Ruth to come back into his life so he could drop everything and be with her. Julie, I'm so sorry for all that you've had to go through, even when you were little before I met you. But you did so much for me. You let me get whatever haircut I wanted and helped me figure out my own sense of fashion. You treated me the way a real parent should. And now I know that you're the only real parent that I've ever had. So I hope that I've been half as good the daughter to you as you've been the mother to me. Oh, sweetie, well, I don't know what to say, except of course, you're my family and you always will be. I love you, Mom, so much. But my friends are asking when we're going to be leaving for the after party, so I think I really do have to go now. We'll talk soon, though, and thanks again for everything. After that, I heard through the grapevine that Richard went through with his plan to sell the house. Of course, now he had no one to move in with. Ultimately, he ended up going to live with his parents, but that didn't last long as they realized housing Richard would mean not seeing Julie anymore. They told Richard that he had screwed up his family, but that he shouldn't try and screw up theirs. Richard was only allowed to stay with them for a week before being asked to move out. Even after he moved out, his parents were still giving him flack about letting things with Julie deteriorate to the point that she wouldn't even invite him to her wedding. After that, I heard he moved to a new town and is trying to start a whole new life where nobody knows him. As for Ruth, it turns out her new man was nothing but a fraud, and that his business collapsed not long after their marriage. I hear that Ruth is still with this man, trapped by the debt and scared to leave. Julie enjoyed the rest of her wedding night and even went on a lovely honeymoon trip with her new husband. The whole time she was there, she was sending me lots of pictures and messages. I told her not to forget to enjoy her trip while she was on it. While she was away, I moved into an apartment by myself. When she returned, Julie came to visit me and we had a belated housewarming party. She told me all about her trip and we didn't say a word about her father.
Hey sis, what is your deal, huh? Seriously, what is the big idea here? Why in the world are you here for me introducing my fiance's family to our family? What game are you trying to play here, huh? Carmen, what on earth are you talking about? You just said you brought over Tony's family to meet our family. You realize that includes me too, right? Besides, if anything, I should be the one asking you what you were trying to pull. I had to hear about this happening from Mom. I almost wasn't able to make it here to meet Tony's parents. That was kind of the whole point of not telling you to begin with. But I don't get it. I mean, I was so shocked when Mom called me over on the phone to ask me what time I'd be coming over. I told her that I had no idea what she was talking about, and she had to explain to me everything that was going on. I didn't even know what restaurant we were all going to be meeting at. I still can't believe that Mom just had to go out and run her mouth to you. She had no right to tell you that was going on. I was doing so well at making sure you didn't know this was going to be happening, too. But I still don't understand why you wouldn't want me there to meet the family that you're about to marry into. I mean, the rest of the family is all there with you, right? I didn't want you there because I didn't want to suffer the humiliation of having to introduce you as my sister. Surely you could have guessed that much. Oh, wait, what? What is that supposed to mean? You don't really mean that, do you? Of course I do. Just think about it. I went to an Ivy League school and graduated with honors. Tony also went to an amazing school and works for a huge company now. You really think I was ever going to let you go anywhere near my elite fiancé? You didn't even graduate high school. You had to go back to get your GED, and now you just run your sad little shop. Are you kidding me? Did you really think that that's all I've done with my life? Oh, please. I know you try to hide from everyone how sad and pathetic your life really is, but it's high time someone breaks you out of the fantasy world you're living in. That's why you need to learn your place and know that I'm not going to let you near my man. Are you telling me that you're really too embarrassed to have me meet your future in-laws and even your fiancé all because I didn't go to college? You know the whole reason I had to drop out of high school in the first place was because of the horrible car accident I was in. I had to go through months and months of PT and just didn't have the time or energy to put into going to school. But I worked hard after my recovery to be able to go back to school and finish my GED. Well, I'm glad that you're proud of all that, but to me, it's just a big blemish on our family's history. And the fact of the matter is that you still only have your GED. You're nothing. Do you understand that? How can you say that about your own sister? I really just don't get you. Well, it's the truth, so that's all there is to it. Besides, it's clear to me that you were just trying to flirt with my fiancé and steal him from me. You really don't think that that's what was happening, do you? We were just having a friendly conversation about what I do for a living. Tony seems to think it was interesting that I made my living growing and selling my own produce through my cafe. That's all we were talking about. I seriously don't even know why I bother with some poorly educated little nobody like you. You always ruin everything. And who cares about some idiot playing pretend in a cafe? You really think that that's going to last longer than a couple more years? Your business is going to fail and you're going to have nothing to show for your sad, pathetic life. I really wouldn't be so sure about that if I were you. I'll have you know I'm working hard every day to make my cafe succeed. I don't really care at all what you're doing. Just don't try and do anything for attention around my fiancé ever again. It's embarrassing enough just being your sister, but if you're going to try and interfere with my life, then I'm going to make you pay.
Kim, I just wanted to say how great it was getting to meet you today. I was really looking forward to meeting Carmen's family, and I'm glad that you were there. Thank you so much for being so welcoming into your family and home. My parents and I really appreciated it.
Of course, we were all excited to meet the man who was going to be marrying my sister. So I hope that we all have the opportunity to see more of each other in the future. But I guess the next time that's going to happen will be the wedding, so I'll see you then.
Wait. Sorry. There's actually something I wanted to ask you about, if that's all right. You said that your cafe was closed for the day, right? I was just wondering if we wouldn't be able to continue our conversation from earlier for a bit.
I'm sorry, what do you mean by that? I don't quite follow.
Well, you see, I went to an agricultural college, so I just really enjoy talking about farming, especially with other people in the industry. In fact, even my parents' house has a little mini garden where we experiment growing different kinds of crops or things.
Oh, really? Well, I guess that certainly explains why you were so interested in what I do for a living.
And since I live in the city now, I don't have nearly as much as I did back home to be able to grow things. So talking to you was the first time I'd gotten to talk about that kind of thing in a long time. Besides, I just think it's so amazing that you grow your own food and incorporate that into your cafe business. To be honest with you, it's always been a dream of mine to do something like that. So anyways, I just wanted to say once again that I'm happy to have gotten to meet you today. And if it's okay, I'd love to see your garden and cafe one day.
Well, by all means, feel free to stop by while I'm open and I'll arrange a tour for you. In fact, I have a spare corner in my garden that's not really being used. You could grow something there if you wanted.
Wait, really? Do you mean that? That would be amazing. I hope I'm not being forward in saying that I would love for a chance to do that.
Well, as long as you take care of that bit of land and don't make it something I have to look after, it's all yours.
I don't even know what to say. It's been so long since I last got to garden. This is really amazing. I have to say, I'm really quite surprised by you. Carmen told me you two don't get along so well. So this whole time I was expecting you to be some kind of cruel, cold ice queen. But you're just a warm, kind-hearted person with a green thumb.
I really think you're being too kind with that description, but I appreciate it nonetheless.
Wait a second, I got it. What if we hired you to cater our wedding? We would love to have some of your cooking there for everyone.
You want my cafe to cater your wedding with my sister?
Of course. We've already started the plans for the wedding and everything like that, so I know I'm not giving you a lot of time. But even just a simple menu would be amazing. I just think that would be a really special way to feed everyone on the big day.
Wow, Tony, I don't know what to say except that I'm honored that you would ask this of me. But what makes you so sure that my cafe's food is even good enough for all of your guests?
Well, it's just that my parents are going to be there at the wedding, of course, and as you might have noticed, they are getting quite old. Both of them actually have trouble even chewing meat now, so knowing that you have a whole vegetable garden and a menu full of good options in your cafe, I'm sure you're the right choice.
I see. Well, okay then, if you're really sure about this.
Not only that, but I always find wedding food to be so heavy, and I think having more veggies will make everyone feel better and prevent anyone from getting too sleepy. Besides, I have a couple modeling friends who I'm inviting, and they have been bugging me a lot about the menu. So this is also a way to address some of their worries.
I see. Well, I suppose people are wanting to eat more vegetables for all kinds of reasons these days. But anyways, if you're sure you'd like to hire my cafe, we'd be honored to cater your wedding.
Well, thank you so much. I'm so happy that we got to meet each other. This is going to be perfect.
And I'll spend some time thinking of a menu worthy of a wedding. Thank you so much for giving me something to do in my sister's wedding.
No. We're the ones who should be thanking you for being an option.
Of course, but I think it might be best if we keep my involvement a secret from Carmen. I just don't think this would go well if she found out beforehand.
Wait, what? You mean you don't want me to tell my sister that you're catering our wedding?
Well, it's like you said, Carmen and I don't really get along all that well, right? So I think that's why she shouldn't know my role in this. Just tell her you found some standard catering company and leave it at that.
Well, I suppose you would know how your sister would react better than I would. And who knows? Maybe the surprise might help push you two closer.
Yeah, I guess we'll see about that. But anyway, I'll help you out just as long as we keep it a secret from my sister.
Well, okay then. If those are your conditions, then I'll keep my mouth shut. If you just wouldn't mind sending over your menu ideas and rough budgets for them all, that would be great. I can't wait to see the finished product.
Hey, Carmen, what is your deal? Let me back inside, now! Why did you kick me out of your own wedding? What is the matter with you? I was only kicking you out for your own good, Don't you realize that a lowlife like you doesn't belong among all of these successful people? But you were the one that sent me the invitation to be here in the first place. The only reason I sent you an invitation was because I didn't want to hear any crap about not doing so from Mom and Dad. But you should have known that I didn't really want you here. Besides, how can you even afford to take a day off work to come here? I thought you could never take a day off from your cafe. You better run back to your shop and make sure you're not already bankrupt. I'd hate for you to get back just in time for there to be nothing left standing because the bank took their land back. I'll have you know that my cafe is not nearly as small of an operation as you think it is. And I would be more than fine to close the business for a day now and then. So can you please just let me back inside? Oh man, it really is just sad how hard you're trying to prove yourself right now. There's no way I'm ever going to believe that your business is anything but some rinky-dink little business that's on the verge of collapse. You really need to get a grip and realize you're nothing compared to some of the people here at my wedding. Of any, just look at the time. What in the world are we even talking about right now, Carmen? I mean, what are you even doing here this early? The guests for the wedding aren't supposed to show up for another 3 hours or so. Don't tell me that you're actually so stupid that you don't even know how to tell the time. I came here at this time because I have things to get ready, if you must know. And just what is it that you have to get ready, huh? Did you need to try and practice fitting in with all the amazing people who are going to be here? Well, don't bother because I don't want you here anyways, so just go back home and never come back. You really have no idea what you're talking about right now, do you? I know that I've kicked you out and that's enough. There's no place for you here, so why don't you just turn around and let me get married in peace? Just go back to your stupid little cafe and keep it running so you can put it off the inevitable. I'm telling you that I can't just go back to my cafe today. I came here for your wedding and I'm going to see it through. Am I supposed to find that kind of language kind or comforting? I'm telling you that I don't want you here, so why don't you just beat it? You really mean it. You really want me to just turn around and leave. Let me break this down for you, but Tony and I went to amazing schools. Everyone who is coming to this wedding are also all of the upper crust of our society and top people in their field. There simply isn't room for a poor little nobody like you to just hang in here. So I don't care what excuses you have to stay longer, but you're simply not wanted. I don't get why you're always putting me down just because I didn't go to college. Aren't you proud of me as a sister for achieving all I have in spite of what I've been through? I'm sorry, but at the end of the day, if all you've done is open up some crappy little cafe, it would just be insulting to you if I'd pretended like I was impressed. Especially when your business just isn't going to last all that long anyways. Speaking of, you should really get back to work now, don't you think? Are you really sure you want me to leave then? How many times are you going to make me repeat myself? Yes, I want you to leave. Go! It really isn't that hard. Just go back to your crappy little cafe to make your crappy little food and serve it to your crappy customers. I see. Well, okay, I can do that, but your guests are going to have to be satisfied with just water then. What are you going on about? I mean that if you want me to go home, then I will, but just make sure to apologize to all your guests. Hey there, Tony. I'm really sorry about this, but I wasn't able to prepare any food for the wedding today. I've got some juice prepared, but you might have to cut them with water to make sure that they last the whole wedding.
Wait, what? Are you serious? What do you mean? What happened?
Well, I was just locked out of the venue and then ordered to go home by Carmen. She told me I didn't belong at the wedding because I'm poor and told me to go back to my cafe.
Are you kidding me? Did she really say that?
She really did. And to think that I was going to write all of this food off. I was going to take on this catering job as a wedding gift to you both, but she turned me away.
Well, hold on a second. I'll deal with this.
Kim, are you there? Why didn't you tell me you were catering my wedding? I didn't know that Tony hired you for that. Well, it's true, and it's why I was at the wedding venue so early. I'd been preparing for this all week, but then you told me to turn around and go home. Well, that's before I knew what was going on. You have to get back here right now. Everyone's about to arrive and there's nothing for anyone to eat. Sorry, but I've already returned to my cafe to do my job like you said. Well, I'm telling you something different now, so hurry up and get back, or else I'm gonna flood your shop with negative reviews. For doing what? Following your orders and turning around? You were the one who canceled my services at the last minute. But you don't understand. You need to get back here right now. Tony is saying that if you don't come back, he won't marry me. Wait, now he's saying that the wedding is off anyways. How did all of this happen so quickly? Why would you ruin my wedding like this? I didn't do anything to ruin your wedding. It's not my fault if your husband didn't know the kind of person you really were. But, I mean, I don't get it. Why would he be taking your side in this? He's not really going to just leave me just because I made fun of your lame job, is he? I think that if you don't know the answer to that question, then you really don't know your fiancé that well at all. I don't know what's going to happen next, but it sounds to me like you two have a lot of talking to do. Just leave me out of it. After that, I heard from Tony that he called the wedding off for the way that Carmen treated me in my job. After explaining the situation to his family, who were all sympathetic towards me and were actually looking forward to talking, they all understood and agreed with his decision. I also explained to my parents the kinds of things that Carmen had been saying about me and how Tony came to find out about all of that. Carmen begged Tony to get back with her, but he refused, after knowing how she felt about small business owners and agriculture workers. A group Tony was quite close with and connected with, he knew he could never be with her. After Tony canceled the wedding, I told him to bring his half of the wedding party to my cafe to enjoy all the food that was meant to serve at his wedding. I met many people who were interested in what I was doing, and my business really began to pick up through their word of mouth. Although my sister might not have gotten married, at least I made a great new friend and many important business connections.